it so I can hear it.
Konnichiwa, bitches. Welcome to the League Reset edition of the Ultimate Man's League podcast. This is the commish. As always, joining me is Connor Hemian. Connor, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've got my father cooking behind me, but
you mean Kev Dog?
We'll make it work. He
Nice.
Can't hear us. Yeah.
He's waving. He's cooking hamburgers, so he should be done in just a few minutes, and then he'll be able to join us. Like I say, guys, we're going to be watching the Slack chat throughout the podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to submit them on the Slack app here, and I will answer them on the podcast. We're going to do a state of the franchise, kind of a mini state of the franchise for everybody today, so it's going to be a little bit of a longer podcast. So, strap in for that. And no, Carlo, let's not strap on. Now, beyond that, we're going to do a little 3-round mock. That'll be the first 23 or so picks.
The noise comes in. Please don't do that.
Okay, then.
He's playing the thing live as we're doing it. So.
Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Oh, my God. It's a great start.
Thank you. Doug. Well, thank you, Kev Dog, for that. So we can just hear the feedback in the background. That'll be fantastic. Anyway, so we'll do a little 3-round mock draft at the end, and we'll kind of alternate picks between me, Connor, and I guess Kevin as well, if he's around and not cooking and listening to the podcast in the background at that time. Connor, is that about everything you wanted to cover today?
Yeah, just about.
Okay, cool. So I will go ahead and turn on my screen share so everyone can look at the draft board. If I can get it to open. Now, Connor, what do you see? Do you see me or do you see the draft board?
Right now, I see the draft board now.
Okay. Okay, now we'll go ahead and start with the first choice tournament champions team Man Bear Pig. You see his keepers there, as well as picks in the first 5 rounds of the draft, which is actually nice. He has 5 picks in the first 35 of the draft. Connor, why don't you go ahead and take us through AJ's keepers?
Yeah, I mean, he's got, maybe a quarterback that people slept on for a couple of years. He didn't seem to be anything special, but Jared Goff there is a great keep. I think he's going to be his mainstay at quarterback. Flacco is kind of high, but, I mean, I get why you wanted to keep 2 quarterbacks.
That's full retail for Flacco, though. That's you're paying the sticker price.
Oh, definitely. And, within a year, I think you won't have to worry about keeping him there, but we'll get to that at some point. I think that Duke Johnson there's a lot of hate on him right now because of how the draft went, but I think that Duke Johnson's a totally capable PPR guy that he could still get some points. And I think that dropping him may have led to him actually being drafted higher, depending on how somebody saw him as a pass-catching back. So I don't hate keeping that running back there. And in terms of his wide receivers, it's kind of a slew of the guys that are kind of average, but as a whole, they kind of create something of a core, and they're all typically later rounds. So I don't exactly hate what he's kept there either. He's got the first pick. He's going to get the best running back available. It's instantly going to improve his team. Do I think his team is built in any capacity to be a competitor? I'm going to have to see after those first barrage of rounds that he has. I don't really see him being a competitor at this point. If he does a great job in the draft, maybe he can make it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Joe Flacco keep, I probably personally wouldn't have done it, but like you said, I don't mind keeping a second quarterback, literally only for the sake of keeping a second quarterback. You can start 2. And he's got a really weak receiver core. I mean, those guys are all startable, and he'll be okay. But Joe Flacco, as an OP, will probably be better than all of those receivers. The Duke Johnson thing, as his only running back, I don't like it. But like you said, he has 3 picks in the top 20. If he spends all those on running backs, he should be okay at that position. The Jack Doyle and Jesse James of it all, they're kind of just another guy when it comes to tight end, both of them.
It's really sad because Doyle could have been his ace. And then all of a sudden you have to deal with the Lions dumping off their tight end to the Colts. And now all of a sudden you wonder, can he get that kind of continued work? Or Is he going to be the secondary guy? Is he going to be the first guy with Ebron kind of being the slacker of the group or what? But it's a mess there at tight end now for him when he could have had, a guaranteed tight end that's going to get you points.
And then a second one in Jesse James, who should be okay at times.
And then with Vance McDonald there, it's almost the same situation.
Yeah, very similar situation. Quincy Enunwa will be catching passes, as we know from Sam Darnold this year at some point. Quincy Enunwa played well back in 2016 when he got the opportunity. But overall, unless he nails those first 5 picks, I don't see this being a playoff team as of now. But we can look into that a little bit more during the mock. Moving on to the second team here, we have Steve's Suck My Ditka. Steve is the toilet seat, as we know, but he's been wheeling and dealing really since midway through last season.
And it definitely shows. I think he's got some amazing keepers, and I think he's primed to be competitive in this league. I mean, he's got, Juju late. You always want to have a late keeper that really changes your team. He's got 2 capable quarterbacks. Trubisky seems to have every piece imaginable to him on his roster.
We're going to find out whether he sucks or not.
Yeah, and then, Matt Ryan's already a sure thing. He's got capable wide receivers. Robinson, obviously, depending on how great Trubisky can be, could be an amazing duo. And then you've got Cooks going to the Rams now to add some new life to that team. I think he should excel. And Parker as that kind of what-if character that has that supreme talent that you haven't seen yet. I think he's got some really awesome pieces. And then to have Jordan Howard there kind of shores up that at least with those first couple picks, he can establish some kind of running game.
And not for nothing, he's also got the 2nd and 13th picks of the draft. Gets running back of his choice almost at pick 2. And then if he grabs another, maybe a rookie in that with that 13th pick, and he's cooking with gas. So Steve is definitely a contender. I think I like Steve's chances to make the playoffs a hell of a lot better than I like AJ's. Steve is kind of did the thing that we recommend a lot of other teams to do over the years, where we say sell off some of these pieces for keeper rights and be good next year. Steve suffered through a horrible season, and he's going to wear that toilet seat at the draft, but I bet he's not wearing it at the 2019 draft.
I don't think so at all. I think he's somebody that could easily slip into that 6 seed, 5 seed, and maybe even go further, depending on how well he does in this draft. That's
true. Definitely things are looking up for the Suck My Ditka. It's got one of the better logos in the UML too, from the new logos. Moving on to that, from one extreme to another, and with these non-playoff teams, Nate looking here, he's got 1 quarterback, he's got probably 1 running back somewhere with those guys, and no wide receivers, 1 tight end, a ton of draft picks. What's your thought on Nate here?
He's definitely grown bare. To have Kirk Cousins there at 3, it could either be a blessing or just terrible, depending on how he does in Minnesota. I think he'll do fine. But, I mean, to have that pick there at Kirk Cousins is a little worrisome as your only quarterback, if that's going to be your mainstay, in the top 3 rounds, as compared to my dad having Breeze or, Alex of the couple of years ago with Brady. You kind of were guaranteed what you had. I think Cousins is a bit of a risk, but I think it should pay off. So keeping him there is fine. He's got the 3rd pick. He's going to get one of in my opinion, the 3 guaranteed good running backs. So that's instantly going to improve his team. As far as from there, he's got a Green Bay guy that could maybe show something. We don't really exactly know the situation there fully yet. Jonathan Stewart's a little bit of a question mark, in my opinion, of keeping him there. I know he's a Giant, so obviously that's, Nate's mainstay, but I think that's a foolish pick to keep there. I don't think especially with Barkley now in the picture. I think it's just a mistake. And Booker's the interesting one of his. I could see why he kept him. I think that's an interesting pick. You could say that with the new addition of what's his name there?
Royce Freeman.
Royce Freeman there, you could say he's got no job anymore. Other people argue that Booker's got a job to prove and if he does it, he'll be the main guy. I'm not exactly in that camp, but I think it's a speculative ad that could pay off for him.
I think it's a good 11th round keeper for sure.
Yeah, and then Cooper Kupp was great with the new addition. I mean, you're basically swapping Watkins with Cooks. I think it does take away maybe some more of that, mainstay certain number of targets, but I think Kupp should still be fine. I think that was a good keep too. Overall, though, I think he has a lot to add to his team to make this anything.
He's got, with the exception of Jonathan Stewart, though, most of his players are good. They're guys that you roster. I don't really like Kelvin Benjamin in round 7 either. But overall, this team needs a lot of work. But a few good draft picks in this team is, in contention for the first choice tournament. I don't think even with a great draft, this is a playoff team, though.
No, I think he's definitely in a rebuilding stage.
Yeah. Alex is a team that should be in a rebuilding stage, but he never seems to want to commit to it. He's got a couple of good quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is, as good as it gets. Blake Bortles is fine as a flex. They didn't draft a quarterback, which was good for him. His wide receivers, Edelman, Meredith, and Cooper. That's okay. He needs a couple more guys. He's got no one at tight end and only Kenyon Drake at running back. So this team needs a lot of work, but the good news is he's got a ton of draft picks. What are your thoughts on here?
I just hope he doesn't keep doing his old man picks and kind of thinks of the future, because I don't think this team is going to make it necessarily right off the bat. I think he's got a couple of years to develop, and he needs to start thinking about younger guys. I mean, he's got Aaron Rodgers. Blake Bortles is 2, I guess, is passable. I mean, your quarterbacks are fine, but in terms of every other aspect, he needs to – I mean, Amari Cooper as a second-round keep, yes, he's shown talent, but it's not going to win you a league like, having Antonio Brown in the third, where my dad has. I think that he needs a lot of work. He needs a lot of rookies, a lot of younger players to really bolster this roster, because it's turned into the same thing these past few years where he's just barely missing the playoffs. And I think if he, Julian Edelman will be back, he's healthy, but every position needs work, in my opinion. Quarterback is passable, but other than that, he needs everything.
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say he should really draft a quarterback late this year that might have a chance to start next year, so he can get rid of Bortles and get that pick back. But he just needs so many. For all we know,
maybe Bortles won't be the starter in a couple of years. I mean, they didn't do anything this draft, but
yeah, this would be a team that, I think Alex has got to realize that if he had the greatest draft he's ever had, okay, and none of these players get hurt, he's probably still not going to win the league. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. If everyone's a home run, he's still not going to win this league. So he needs to bear that in mind. Draft some rookies that you can feel excited about. And who knows, he could end up being, we get to be talking about his team the way we talked about Steve's earlier in the show. I don't mind the idea of this team drafting a rookie quarterback. And the thing is, if he doesn't do that, it's a sign that he thinks he can win with this team. I just don't think he can.
Absolutely not.
Mr. I get into slack last himself, Adam Farinini's White Sharks have the 5th draft position this season, but don't pick until number 20 overall. He's got a million quarterbacks. He's better at quarterback than anybody else, and it's not even close. He's got at least one good running back, which is a good sign. His receivers are terrible, and his tight ends aren't great. Is there any chance this team can make the playoffs, or do you think it's still probably a year away?
I'd say it's still a year away, and especially with somebody who isn't that active during the regular season, he's not going to fit those missing pieces like a lot of other teams do. One of the problems with Adam's team is he usually just sticks with the team he drafts, and it's a huge worry. He still kept John Ross there. I think that's not the greatest pick to keep. He showed nothing last year. He was negative points. Jamal Williams could possibly be the running back there, and you have Melvin Gordon, so your running back core isn't exactly terrible. But it definitely, at 20, is he going to get that running back too that he needs? I don't think so. Doug Baldwin's always been a great pick by him. His quarterbacks are always for sure. Jenkins is an interesting prospect in Jacksonville, though. I don't know how he's going to look. He needs a lot of good draft picks, and unfortunately, his first pick is at 20.
Yeah, it's a really rough spot. I don't know that I would have kept Andrew Luck there. I'm not sure you get a better player than Andrew Luck at what would have been pick 16. But it's fine. He really ought to trade one of these guys. Like, you can only start 2 of them. They're all great. Wentz is hurt. You can't trade him. You shouldn't anyway. He's in round 12. But I look at Marcus Mariota in that 5th round or Luck in that 2nd round. You trade one of those guys for a running back to a team that needs a quarterback and has a running back or a wide receiver. Carlo is a perfect trade partner for Adam here. He needs a quarterback in the worst way, and he's got a million wide receivers. I say they link up, make a trade, and both teams are instantly far improved, in my opinion. I don't think this is a playoff team this year. I think you're looking at another 4, 5, 6 win season for Adam. He does have some good players, though, and we've seen it in the past. Good quarterback play can keep you in a lot of games.
Definitely. I think he'll win some games. I think he won't be, the toilet seat holder, but it's definitely not helping him at all with the way he's ran his team the past couple of years. He needs to make some serious changes if he wants to get his team in the right direction.
Yeah. Joe E. Nuska. The Dad Punchers were one of the last teams eliminated from the playoffs last year. I believe they were the 1 seed in the first choice tournament. Joe's got one great young quarterback. He's got 1 good running back, 2 kind of committee guys. He's got nothing at wide receiver, and he's pretty much league average at tight end. This is a team that I could see with a few good draft picks. This is a team that could, I believe, be a contender in a couple of years. But I don't see it here. Where's aside from Gurley, where's the star power?
Watson. I think Watson is a great addition to his team. Kyle Rudolph's at 18 is going to be fantastic for him. He's got little spread pieces that are going to make his team matter. And if you can draft the right way, you can kind of take those pieces and make something happen. I think you're right. He's not quite there, but I think he's definitely out of some of these, lower teams that aren't doing so well. I think he's the next one to make his transition into being in the playoffs.
Yeah, this is I think this is the thing we know about Joe is that he's gonna work the waiver wire. He's gonna be an active owner, so he'll make a lot of moves. Not all of them will not always understand why he makes the moves he makes, but he'll make enough of them to improve the team. And I would be surprised. This is a team that sneaks in to a 6 seed, on the strength of Todd Gurley and a full season to Deshaun Watson. Maybe Will Fuller takes that next step. Willie Snead plays for the Ravens now, though, doesn't he? So, but I don't see he needs 3. He needs 3 more running backs, 2 more receivers. He needs a lot of help here, and I'm not sure that if he takes all rookies and hits on like half of them, then he'd be a playoff team next year for sure. That's my opinion of Joe's team. Definitely. The Rabbit College Rampage, a former league powerhouse, is his window closing? Connor Hemian.
I don't think his window's closing. I think he just needs to draft well here. At 5 and 14, he could get the 2 running backs to go with the Jai. They wouldn't exactly set the league on fire, but I think that they're definitely valued picks that could immediately put him in contention. He still has Cam Newton. He still has the wide receiver help that could really get him to the next level. I think if he's smart about the way he drafts, I wouldn't say he has a chance at winning this year, but I would say he's going to be in the playoffs. And within the coming years, he could definitely make some moves with, depending how he drafts young at, 3 or 4, or even getting a great deal at 8 or 10 for his picks. 9 and 11 for his picks. I think that he could definitely be in serious contention within a year, depending on how well he drafts today or this year.
Yeah, this is a big season for him. What his biggest problem is, he's been getting cute in the early rounds. The Amir Abdullahs, the Joe Mixon picks, these guys that really, really just didn't pan out for him. He doubled down on the Amir Abdullah thing. Took him in the first round 2 years ago, and then in the second round last year. Amir Abdullah's really got to find his way into the 18th round if you want to get your money's worth for him. This is a team. He's got receivers though. This is one of those teams that is so weak at tight end and so weak at running back, even needs a quarterback. I would say just don't draft a wide receiver, and if you do it very late. Get a couple rookies, maybe to replace Allen Hurns on your team next year. But this is a team that needs to focus on other positions. And Jay Ajayi dodged a bullet. They didn't really do a whole lot at running back. They brought back Darren Sproles, but that's a different role anyway. I think Jay Ajayi will be a good running back. And if he hits at 5 and 14, that running back group's better than most in the league. The Murder Muppets. I'll let you just go ahead and take this one away there, Connor.
All right. I think you set yourself up well with the first two picks.
6 and 11.
Obviously, you're very upset about the news. Well, you dealt with the news of Cleveland drafting Chubb, so you've corrected that. But I still see Kareem Hunt there and Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis. That's a compatible 3. I think that it's a standard good start in the league. You have Pat Mahomes there, and you have Andy Dalton to share yourself as a second quarterback. I think those are fine. You have, arguably fantastic tight ends. They haven't exactly produced in the league to showcase that yet, but they are considered to be great values. And you added Jake Butt as well for a great late-round pick just to see what happens there. I think your team is great from where you were a year ago. Tyreek Hill as your only wide receiver concerns me because I think you still need to go go running back with those first 2 picks. So by the time you have your next pick, it's at 43. I think you're still a year away from really being able to compete for anything major. In terms of this year, I think you could maybe make the playoffs.
Ooh, watch out, everyone. I'm coming for you. You pretty much hit on the head. I do need receivers. I don't like my running back group has no depth right now. I'm 1 injury away from being horrible at running back. So I do have those 2 picks early. Hopefully I can turn them into something good. Ray Krobach and his Compton Cookie Snatchers. He's got great quarterbacks, probably best in the league outside of your dad and obviously Adam. Very good. And he's better than your dad. So he's really good at quarterback. He's got 2 good running backs. Receiving core is pretty good. He kept a defense, which I don't always recommend, but if you're going to keep one, Vikings in round 18, you can do a hell of a lot worse. And then he's got 1 good tight end. This looks like a playoff team at first blush. He doesn't have a ton of draft picks early, but there's a lot of good players on this team. What are your thoughts?
I think he needs to nail his running back at that 12th pick. Ingram's your number 1. It's easy. Tevin Coleman's been kind of a running back 3. I think if he nails that pick at 12 with the right running back, his team's going to be fearsome this year. He's got a lot of the pieces. Maybe at 42, he could either go with, if he really thought there was a tight end there, that was great. He could maybe go with a tight end there, or he could just bolster up his running backs even more. I think you're looking at definitely a playoff team. He's drafted well. He's got that huge gap in later rounds. You just got to try to hit all the pluses. I mean, think of Carlo last year. Adam Thielen was like a 14th round pick.
Yep.
Ray needs to find the Adam Thielen of the draft. And I think if he can do that, he's on his way to a serious playoff push.
Yeah, this is a team, and I would recommend Ray not go for a tight end at 42. The difference in production that you're probably going to get in a tight end that you pick at 42 and a tight end that you pick at 74, probably not going to be that much of a difference because you're probably taking a rookie, right? Rookie tight ends don't generally do all that well. Evan Ingram last year being an obvious exception, but 2 good running backs on this team. Maybe grab a bunch of rookie receivers and a bunch of rookie running backs late in the draft. Get 2 tight ends. Double down on the position and don't draft a kicker because you already have a defense. So I think this team's an easy playoff team in my opinion. The Petersburg Penguins. This team's a little cupboard's not completely bare, but he's got no wide receivers. What are your thoughts here?
I think this is a definite rebuild team. You have Leonard Fournette. You kept him. You moved up a little bit, or moved back actually, without that last trade with you for the second round, but it's still a second round pick. You've got two capable quarterbacks. You have, a running back one and probably a running back three, maybe higher depending on how Chubb does in Cleveland. And you have something of a tight end. I mean, he's got some pieces, but he's just very bare. I think it's a complete rebuild. He needs to think about young players. He needs to act on them and act on them well. I think it's a couple years before he can get back into the playoff push. But I think it was a smart move to kind of wash out Des Bryant and Larry Fitzgerald and kind of just start over with some great pieces.
It shows a lot of patience, which is something that Tim hasn't always done. Make moves, get rid of guys, because Tim's biggest problem in years past has been same problem Adams had a lot of the time, is not be willing to cut bait on people. He should have cut Des Bryant last year. He could have. I know he kept Terrence Williams for like 3 years, in like the 10th round or something. Those kind of keepers, you'll like Terrence Williams in those seasons probably ended up being worth an 11th round draft pick, But the point is that you paid retail price, and when you pay retail price, you don't ever get a bargain. You don't get Marquise Lee in the 15th round. We see on your dad's team, who is better than Terrence Williams and was 4 rounds later. So by getting rid of guys that you don't otherwise need, you can really do better. This is a team, though. I think the quarterbacks and Fournette and stuff will probably keep him out of the toilet seat, but I don't think this is a playoff team. The Toad Point Trippers. Kevin,
I'm gonna let my
Sweet
dad
Nectar Hemian.
This one.
Oh.
Why don't you talk to the crowd here, Dad?
Yeah. What do you want me to say?
Why don't you talk to us about your team? How you feeling about your team with your 4 draft picks?
Pretty good, but I always wish I had some ability to have an earlier pick, because it's very frustrating when I go into a draft, I have a list of prime candidates for each position I want, and then the order of the positions I want to pick up. And it's just like my prime players get picked off one by one. I rarely get any of the first even 3 or 4 that I would like to get. So, and I do have some people that are getting older. So I'm worried about getting replacements for them.
Yeah, Connor and I were talking about this on the last show, and how we normally tell people, draft young players, draft rookies, draft, second, third year players. But we kind of were in lockstep on the sentiment that you probably ought not to do that. You need established players that can help you win this season. With only 4 draft picks, you're probably not hitting home runs on rookies with those.
I've gotten lucky a few times because
sure,
Prescott, obviously. I mean, it's not like he's really top tier yet, but
and round 16, that's a good draft pick. But my point here is, though, Kevin, is that drafting a guy, if he were available, I'd say like a Carlos Hyde or something like that. Guys that are going to be able to play for you now, that are known quantities, are the kind of things that a team that's constructed the way yours is makes, because you don't really if you spend that 27th pick on a rookie running back and he tanks, the air is real thin at the top of this league, and a blown first pick of the draft can sink you. That simply, you've come really close. One more good player can do it. So my advice would be to take a young player, or not to take a young player there.
No, I agree, but if I'd have more luxury if I had younger or sooner picks. But the thing is
you can trade some of these guys.
Give up Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell? I don't think so.
I'll give you the 6th pick of the draft for Lev Bell right now.
Huh?
I'll give you my number 6 pick.
No, not when I have 2 guys that can rip me off 40 points every game, pretty much. count on.
Yeah, Lev Bell's great, but looking at your roster, a little state of the franchise. Quarterback's obviously not a need right now. You might want to move on from Breeze here in a year or two, but for now, that's the type of pick that you just hang on to. You probably could have thrown him back and gotten to choose between him or Tom Brady, but it is what it is. At running back, you got Lev Bell. Obviously, he's like a top 4 guy.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Thompson, James White, those guys are every week starts in the UML. You need more running backs than 3, obviously. I wouldn't begrudge you taking running backs with 27, 40, and 49. Your receiving core is just fine without taking any receivers up there. Tight end is good. Delaney Walker's getting older. Jordan Reed's always hurt, but you have Njoku to kind of bridge that gap. This is a team with no holes, just needs a little bit more depth at the running back position, and I think you'll be right back in that championship contending mix. What do you think, Connor?
What do you think, running back? Oh, he's trying to figure something out, so he wasn't listening. But
nice job, Connor.
But the thing is I agree. It's a matter of who's going to be there by the time I get my first pick.
Yeah, it's a long wait. You might as well just show up to the draft late.
Yeah, well, no, I like to listen to whoever everyone else is taking too. It always gives me a big thrill to have a big pick in mind, and I get by the people who I think are going to take them from me, and then it gets one away, and the person I never expected to take them takes them.
Yeah, and then Joe just takes a random sleeper that he wanted. Yeah, happens every year.
So
let's move on to the next team here. Pat's Long Bushes. Pat is not big on the trash talk, but he's big on results. Was the number 1 seed in the league last year, following a down season, but he won the league the year before that. So Pat's got this number 7 and number 10 picks. Connor, why don't you take us through his roster, unless you're still trying to figure something out?
He's still trying to figure something out.
All right, Kevin. What do you think of Pat's quarterback group here? Philip Rivers, Alex Smith.
All right. Now, I'm not able to see this, so what are you saying?
You can't see my screen?
Yeah, but my eyesight isn't what it used to be.
Okay, so Pat at the quarterback position has Philip Rivers and Alex Smith. What do you think about that group?
I think he's pretty good with those, to be honest with you. I just would wonder if Alex Smith can be sort of fluky. We'll see, though. But
yeah, he's got a decent amount of weapons.
Yeah. The thing is he has he did well. We'll see if he can, but it took him until midway through the year to start doing well last year, as I recall.
Well, they were giving the ball to Kareem Hunt, and he was just scoring a touchdown in every play. So, or early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you don't really have to do much here. If you want to take a middle round rookie or something, I wouldn't begrudge it. But I don't think this is a position of need for this team.
No, I think he's set here.
Yeah, at running back, he's got Devonta Freeman, who is obviously a bona fide top 10 running back. Great there, pulled off that Mike Evans trade to make that happen. But then he's only got Marlon Mack, who I know he's still got an opportunity to start here. They did a lot at offensive line. They spent a first-round pick and a second-round pick on guards. The run blocking should be really good in Indy. But obviously he needs running backs probably at number 7 and at number 10. What do you think there, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely needs more depth with his running backs. So to only have one sure thing is not a place to be.
Yeah, that's a good point. Wide receiver group is pretty solid here. It was obviously a lot better with Mike Evans, but Jarvis Landry, Tyrell Williams, Jameson Crowder, Jordy Nelson, all good players there that'll be able to contribute. Honestly, if there's a good receiver sitting there at 26, maybe think about it, but I wouldn't mind him, taking another running back at 26 and just waiting and grabbing more receivers in those later rounds. Mm-hmm. If somebody slips and you want to grab, whoever you think the best available receiver is at 26, that's fine. But this is a group that's, it's probably league average at wide receiver. He's not crushing it, but he's got a lot of guys and can play the matchups, and I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and he's, it's solid. Like you say, it doesn't blow you away, but hey, he kept winning games. That's the one thing in one of my appearances that I stated is nobody ever talks about Pat, but here he is, in the background winning.
The inconvenient truth.
Yeah. So
moving on to Pat's tight ends here. He's got Travis Kelce, who's like a top 3 tight end, top 4 tight end. But that's all he's got. And honestly, maybe just go into the doldrums. Don't, because you're going to have to overdraft somebody to get somebody you want. Pick a guy that slips, grab him with pick 87 or something if you like him. Maybe grab a rookie and just play the waiver wire. I don't think this is tight end is going to be a huge strength of this team this year. I think Travis Kelce plus a bum brings you to about league average, which I think is fine for this team.
And the thing is this may be where he wants to pick up the rookie that, tight end rookies never really do much, but the guy that has potential for in the future for him.
Yeah, he's a Dolphins fan. Maybe go grab Mike Gesicki, in the middle to late rounds, and put him in your back pocket for next season. He might be good this year. Who knows? They don't really have anything else at tight end, but I don't see this. Is this a playoff team in 2018, Kevin?
I think so. He's always a threat. I mean, he plays the waivers well. I think it's like I say, he's the guy you don't think of, and then there he is kicking you in the groin.
Yep, ending your undefeated season in the semifinals.
Well, he didn't end me he didn't end.
I was referring to my season, the season he won.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
But yeah, that's another good team. We'll get on to the Fozzie fullbacks. Really, got to be honest with you, Kevin. This is the worst team in the league, don't you think?
I don't know what Connor's thinking half the time. I really don't.
Yeah, who's this Ezekiel Elliott bum? Wasn't he suspended last year?
Yeah. And he wasn't even playing up to his full potential.
He only had 99 yards a game. What are we doing here? Yeah. And who's this Alvin Kamara guy? What are we doing here? But in all seriousness, this is a team that I think is a lock to make the playoffs. Derek Carr being his only quarterback isn't great, especially with his lack of depth at the two main positions. This is a prime candidate to draft a rookie quarterback. I look at the number 50 and number 60 picks. There should still be a rookie on the board. Josh Rosen would be a player I would expect Connor to take if he's available at number 50. But quarterback is not a huge need just because he's got Derek Carr, but he definitely needs another one, obviously. What do you think there, Kevin?
Yeah. The thing is his quarterback situation is sort of like Pat's wide receiver. It isn't sparkly, but it'll get it done for him. So
at running back, obviously, is where this team really shines. You've got 3 top 10 running backs on this team. Just easily the best group in this league. It needs some depth, has no depth. But if he can go and grab, hopefully not another Alvin Kamara. But if he can go and grab, a couple serviceable guys. If he had Chris Thompson and James White on this team, that would be so perfect. Those guys could cover his flex or cover for bye weeks, injuries, or suspensions or whatever for these other guys. Yeah. Really great group of running backs. And I really like that.
Trade already.
What's that?
He's talking trade already. No.
Yeah, right. He probably ought to trade me those guys for nothing, though. I got that number 6 pick he can have for all 3 of those guys if he wants it. I think that's a pretty good deal. No, but in reality, though, this receiving group is interesting. He's got a number 1. He's got a borderline number 2, number 3 kind of guy in Tyler Lockett, but he's got nobody else, literally. So he's going to need to spend quite a few draft picks on wide receivers. You might see quite a few rookies go here. This is a team that I think could take Michael Gallup. What do you think here, Kevin? This thing on? Did I lose you guys? All right, well, they're having some technical difficulties. We'll go through and finish up Connor's team. He's going to need to draft probably 3-4 plus wide receivers. Just not having enough depth on this team could come back to bite him. He's a Mike Evans injury away from having the worst receiving group in the league. So you really have to do something there. But Connor obviously knows that. At tight end, he's about league average. He's got one good guy, one shitty guy. I told Connor I didn't really like the idea of taking Jared Cook, or keeping Jared Cook, I should say, in the 10th round. But it's probably about where he'd go anyway, towards that tail end of that tight end group. And the tight end pool this season is brutal. So anything to do to stay out of that. Let me go ahead and stop the screen share for just a second, see if I can get these guys back in here. Connor, I'm going to go ahead and eject you now and then re-invite. Bear with us, guys. All right, I've gone ahead and resent the invitation for them. I'll go ahead and put the screen share back on. All right. Now we'll get into the last team here, which is the UML champion, Queef Wellington. Quarterback group is the worst in the league. Eli Manning is a borderline QB2 in our league, and he's the only one Carlos got. I would expect him to draft one quite early. Running back is a position of concern for this team as well. LaShawn McCoy is. Are we back, gentlemen?
All right, we're back. We had experiencing technical difficulties.
We are all set now. I'm back.
All right, awesome. I was just talking about how Carlo's running back group is cause for concern on this group. You guys want to pick it up right there?
Sure. Theoretic now that, not to say that Johnson's exactly going to do anything. He's going to definitely be a problem for Riddick, I think. Riddick becomes, that's your second best running back and you have him in round 5. I think that just completely shatters Riddick's stock. I think he'll still be a valued running back. I just think it's a little high. And as a running back, too, it's just not going to work. LaShawn McCoy, guaranteed number 1. It always has been. He's getting up in age, though.
He's 30.
In a year, he could have absolutely nothing at running back.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of highly – where he makes up for it, obviously, is this receiver group, which is unbelievable. He's got, 2 top 3 guys, a top 5 guy, and 2 top 15 guys, and then a nice prospect in Doxson. So this is Carlo's doing the wrong thing if he drafts even one receiver.
Oh yeah, just don't even touch it.
You could be sitting there and pick 24. The best receiver in the draft is still sitting on the board. I'd be like, no, don't take him. You don't need him. You know what I mean? It's not a thing. Running back is going to be a huge focus for this team. Tight end is fine, but running back and quarterback, needing a quarterback as badly as Carlo needs a quarterback is a rough spot to be in with the way his draft picks line up.
More than I do, and that's bad because I have running back settled. So in those early rounds, you can't get that quarterback, and I can potentially if I want to.
If he wants a quarterback, if he wants Tom Brady, he's going to have to take him at 8.
And then he's screwed.
Yeah. So will these receivers – I think these receivers will get into the playoffs, but is he a candidate to repeat?
It's like I had said. His biggest thing is he gets on that streak. He gets a hot streak where his wide receivers get him big wins. He puts up big points. And that's how he won last year, and that was the best case scenario. He needs to re-alter the mainframe of his team if he wants to be a consistent winner. And I don't see that out of his roster. I think he could very easily get blown out in the very first round, or be like the sad sack next to me over here and get that first round bye every year and still lose.
Yeah, the thing about this team is the number one glaring thing I see on obviously outside the quarterback position being completely garbage. Trade Josh Doxson for a prospect running back. Trade a prospect wide receiver for a prospect running back and be done with it. Yeah. Just get him off your. You're never gonna. He's gonna have to cut Josh Doxson at some point, or he's just gonna eat a roster spot, because he's never gonna play. He'd need an injury, 2 guys, and 2 guys on bye to use Doxson as a flex. But no, Doxson is a good prospect, and he could see just in that same round. He could trade him to you for David Johnson. There you go. Both teams. Both teams. That's great for Carlo anyway. But no, I mean, like, I don't. After the draft, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But trade him to Nate for Devontae Booker. You know, like it's Devontae Booker is a much better piece on this team than Josh Doctson is right now. But that said, these receivers are too good. This team will be in the playoffs. I don't know if he's going to repeat as champion. He kind of caught lightning in a bottle with kind of a bum roster last year. I mean, to be perfectly honest, outside of those receivers. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, the first ever UML podcast mock draft. So we'll go ahead and we'll go one person at a time. Explain the pick. If it's a rookie, maybe go into a little bit about his game. What kind of player you think he is? If that works for y'all. With the first pick, Kevin, why don't you go ahead and make that first pick for AJ?
I think he's got to go with Barkley.
Oh, did Kev Dog leave us?
What's that?
Did Kevin leave?
No, I'm here.
I said Kevin make the first pick, not Connor.
I'm sorry. Oh, what do you think?
Yeah.
Barkley. It's an obvious number one pick, in my opinion. Well, no, of the people who are available here, yeah.
Saquon Barkley, running back, New York Jets. Connor, you're picking for Steve. Who's it going to be?
I think he'd be tempted by a couple guys, but I think he needs to just take Cook back. I think he was waiting to see if Barkley was going to get taken, and he's got to go with Cook again. I think he's an outstanding running back. I think it's a great pick. I'm sure he's upset that he didn't get maybe the best guy, but I think you can't go wrong with Cook.
I think Dalvin Cook is a good player for that team. And that injury was very early in the season, so he should be 100% ready to go.
Not a great team.
Yeah, he's on a great offense. Nate should run the card up at the draft if he's sitting here at number 3. Christian McCaffrey, running back from Carolina. They didn't do anything in the draft. There's talk of that Cameron Artis-Payne is going to pick up that Jonathan Stewart role. So Christian McCaffrey. Caught 80 balls as a rookie. He's going to be great again. And suddenly that running back group for Nate doesn't look so bad anymore. Kevin, you're up for the pain train.
It's the hardest pick, too.
Thanks a lot. He'll probably pick Brady, but no.
Well, he just dropped it.
I know, but still.
Who's the oldest guy in the league?
Bridgewater. No. No, I'm thinking Mixon.
Joe Mixon, running back from Cincinnati. Does the fact that they drafted Mark Walton in the 3rd round or 4th round, whenever it was, is that for Miami? That doesn't cloud your judgment? You believe in the talent?
For what? For Miami?
Yeah, Miami, like the Hurricanes. Mark Walton, the running back. They drafted him.
Can I answer that? Because I'm actually very interested in Watson.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that he's going to be the Gio Bernard replacement. I think Mixon is totally fine. I think it's very interesting for him, depending on how they feel about Gio Bernard when his contract runs out. But I think he'll be completely safe from that pickup.
Okay, so you don't have any qualms with taking Joe Mixon at number 4.
I think there could be some good rookies to look at, but I also think that my dad's a little smart on that because I think Alex isn't going to be looking at new names. He's going to look for I've seen this guy play before. And, outside of taking, Marshawn Lynch again or Miller, I think Mixon is the one that's going to flash to him and make sense. So I think my dad is right on that pick.
All right. Connor, you're up for the Rabbit College Rampage at pick number 5.
I think your dad's going to go rookie. And the rookie I think he'd pick could be totally wrong. Could offend him possibly. But I think I could see him being a Royce Freeman lover.
Ooh, Royce Freeman. You don't think that's getting too cute that high in the draft?
To me, it's between that and Penny for kind of that game. Maybe he's a Geis guy. I feel like I'm not a Geis guy. Maybe I should say Geis. He did take Perrine last year, though, and he got burned pretty badly.
I took Perrine.
He traded him to you, yeah.
I traded Perrine to him.
Yeah. So, but
Freeman, final answer, or do you want to go with Penny, or you want to?
I'm gonna go with Geis.
Darius Geis. A little bit more pass catching ability than Matt Jones and Samaje Perine, but same sort of player. I guess I am up for myself here, and in this situation, I am running the AJ Green card up to the podium. What are your thoughts on a pick like that, Connor?
I think you're hiding your actual pick, though.
What are you talking about?
No, it's a smart pick. He's the best wide receiver available.
And I desperately need wide receivers. So AJ Green's the pick at number 6, no matter what you say, Connor. Kevin, you're up for Pat at number 7.
All right. I don't know. I'm thinking running back probably. I Penny, Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny from Seattle. What's your thinking there, Kevin?
Well, I mean, he needs some players there. It's gonna be yeah, he's gonna be it, I think.
I mean, he had a huge workload in college, caught a lot of balls, ran the ball a ton. I think he he broke all of Marshall Faulk's records at San Diego State.
Seattle's going to use him. I mean, I don't think he's going to be hanging around the bench or anything. So, he's going to see touches. So,
yeah, I think he'll have a huge opportunity here. We'll see how well the talent translates, but he's going to have plenty of opportunity. Thoughts, Connor?
I think it'd be a smart pick. He's definitely going to be. He's for the rookie backs. I think he's going to be one of the guys that gets the most touches early. I think between Penny, obviously Barkley, and even Geis, I think he's probably the third in line to get the most touches. And I think they're definitely leaning towards a run game. They've kind of stated that they don't, by this draft, that they're definitely looking to run the ball. I think they're making a change. So Penny's going to be the face of that.
Yeah, I think if it works out, then you could see a whole new offensive approach in Seattle. Connor, you are on the clock.
Seattle will have a running play for instead of trying to pass the ball and throwing an interception if they get into the Super Bowl this year.
Kevin, with the bomb of Seattle should have run the ball. Oof.
Still viable.
That's good sauce. Connor, first pick around 2. You are on the clock for Queef Wellington.
I am. He's got to go running back. If he doesn't, I've already made so much hatred against him for keeping Beckham and drafting him last year. It's going to continue. He's got to go running back. He's desperate at it, and he's got to go. I think he'd be on the train for maybe a Ronald Jones type.
Ooh, Ronald Jones, running back, Tampa Bay.
That rookie to kind of grab. Yeah, I'm going to say Ronald Jones.
Yeah, that's a good pick for him because he's going to have you left him out when you're talking about who's going to have the biggest chance, but he's the starting running back already on that team. They have nothing else. And he's
weird love affair with Jaquiz Rogers, but I think that'll pass soon.
It's like, Jaquiz Rogers is a good backup running back. That's all he is. Okay. Just accept it. Okay. I am on the clock for Connor here at pick number 9. And
taking Doug.
What's that?
What am I taking?
You're going to take good old GOAT boy, Tom Brady himself. Because we know you're going to want that second round pick back next season. You need to compete this year, and you're not going to do it without a quarterback. Good old Tom Brady suddenly takes your quarterback group from bad to great.
I possibly hate the most in the league, but I know the value of $1, so I'll take him.
Tom Brady will keep you in the games, and what a chin, Kevin, you're back up for Pat.
Plans too.
Yeah, right. You're back up for Pat here. Rashad Penny was your first pick. You going to turn around and follow that with another running back, or what's the plan?
As of right now, he would have Penny, Mack,
and Freeman.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Here,
but I don't. Yeah.
So that he's got Smith and Phillip Rivers at quarterback. He's got Travis Kelce at tight end. Maybe wide receiver.
I don't know.
Wide receiver, running back.
I'm thinking he's going to go another running back. Tell you the truth. Collins in Baltimore.
Alex Collins. That kind of seems like a pat move. What's your thoughts on that, Kevin? Why Alex Collins?
Well, he's going to win them. He's going to give them points this year. And he's a Pat kind of player, I think. It's like not totally flashy, but he's going to give them points. He's gonna win. Some fool is going to play Pat, thinking he's going to have an easy win. He's going to kick him in the nuts.
like you.
Yeah, like me.
Good grief. Connor, what are your thoughts?
I think maybe he'd want to go. You know what, though? At wide receiver, I wouldn't say it's a little early after A.J. Green's been gone. But I think that Collins would be a nice sure-up to make sure he's got 4 capable guys. I think he'd feel really safe if he took Collins. So I don't hate that pick.
Yeah, I kind of like that pick. After the Penny pick, I kind of really like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
He'd finally be sitting with running backs for the first time, I think, since he's joined the league.
Yeah, he's been slapping together some weird teams here. Connor, you were on the clock at pick 11, which was traded to me. Who am I going to take here?
Who you're going to take? So you already took
AJ Green.
So obviously, I could see you, Doug. I could see you as a Burkhead kind of guy.
A Burkhead kind of guy in the second round?
But damn, it's hard. It goes bad fast. Maybe a Sony Michel.
Sony Michel.
One up on Burkhead.
You think Burkhead's going to go that soon in the draft, by the way?
It's looking like it. There's a nice, very fast. Maybe people should note that about running backs and not take AJ Green.
So yeah, that's an interesting pick. Sony Michel. A lot of us were kind of bummed out that he ended up going to the Patriots just because they don't really use one running back ever.
But at the same time, one of the Patriots drafted somebody in the first round of running back. I think that speaks volumes about what they want at that guy.
Yeah, Lawrence Maroney out of Minnesota was the last guy. Let's see. Is it me? I'm up for Ray.
Yep.
I look at Ray's team, needs a running back in the worst way. And, Ray is going to, be in a situation where he's going to want to take a rookie. He's going to want to reach on a rookie. I don't think he should. This team I believe, is in a championship window. I think he takes the card up and takes Lamar Miller, the running back from Houston. What are your thoughts on that one, Kevin?
I've heard some bad things about Lamar Miller lately.
Look at Connor just jumping on Kevin's question again.
What? Well, like what? What?
Oh,
have you heard?
I heard.
Yeah. What have you? What?
Cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that would suck for Ray in this situation.
Guess he won't be picking him. Well, I think if it isn't that, then I don't know. No.
They have Foreman there. Maybe they like him more.
Foreman's coming off a ruptured Achilles, though.
I'm surprised they didn't draft somebody. So, if anything, I guess that's good news for Miller. I doubt he'll get cut, but to hear that kind of news this early is kind of troublesome. I'm sure we'll closer to the draft date, but
That's true. And you never know with that team. Thing is that the running back in that offense is going to be worth something. So we'll see there. On the clock for pick number 13. This is Steve's pick, acquired from me in a trade. I believe the pick here is Kevin's to make. Kevin, what's Steve going to do here with this first pick?
It's sad to say, but he's going to have to try to dig a running back out. And which is going to be sad to say for me later on too. But
Kevin, you're not getting a running back at 27. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I guess another rookie to look at, Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
Why Nick Chubb?
Well, I mean, he's a rookie. It's Cleveland has got to get their poop together someday, and
that's a fact.
They're looking. I think he's just going. I mean, who do they have now for running back?
Cleveland. They've got Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, and Nick Chubb. I think they're doing pretty good at running back.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying though. But whether because I'm thinking you want somebody that's got a chance of actually playing.
True.
And I think he's going to second round. Yeah, they took him early, so I think they're going to go for it. Yeah, I mean, because it's touches, and the guy has talent, and he isn't an early pick, obviously, but God, it's getting so thin right now. What else can you do?
True. Nick Chubb is the pick at 13 for Steve. Connor, you're on the clock for the Rabbit College Rampage.
Ooh. What did he take so far?
He took Darius Geis.
Yikes. I feel like he's still got to go running back. I think your dad may be inclined to take. I could see him taking Crowell, possibly.
He was looking at Royce Freeman in the first round. He's still on the board.
What? Royce Freeman isn't gone yet?
No, he is not.
Oh, that should have happened already. Royce Freeman, then. Your dad just won the draft.
I don't think Royce Freeman will end up being the starting running back week 1. I think they have a big boner over Devontae Booker. I think Royce Freeman I know surprisingly little about Royce Freeman, but I know they have a big woody over Devontae Booker, despite the fact that he sucks at football.
I'll put a bet on it with you.
What kind of bet?
Water bet or whatever you want. I don't know.
What the hell's a water bet?
You get dumped with water if you're wrong.
What's the bet though? Like what are the terms of the bet?
Let's say Royce Freeman has more rushing yards than Booker by the end of the year.
We'll see. We'll see about that. We'll get back to you on the next show about that. No, that's the thing, though. I think they're going to give Devontae Booker the opportunity. I don't think Devontae Booker's good. That's the thing.
Butting around like scratching the floor with his foot right
now. Royce Freeman, though, we'll see what the Broncos like to do. They seem to like they're really building a new offense there with all the picks that they made. But yeah, Royce Freeman, Darius Geis, not a bad start for two rookies. If those both hit, that's a really good team. I believe I am up for Joe, the dad punchers. And Joe is going to, be looking. He's going to be following along with the draft live, and he's going to need a running back. And I think he's going to take a deep breath and just take Peyton Barber. No, I'm kidding. He's going to take a deep breath, but he's going to have to bite on Carry On My Wayward Son Johnson. Carry On Johnson, running back in Detroit. I don't believe in Amir Abdullah. Theo Riddick is in his role, and LeGarrette Blount ain't shit. Carry On Johnson, I believe, led the nation in yards after contact last year. Running back out of Auburn. He played in the SEC. He's used to good competition. I think Carry On Johnson is that's a Joe player if I've ever seen one. What do you guys think?
Well, he did draft Abdullah, so we already know what he likes.
True.
I really think Johnson. I mean, you have different opinion than me, but I think Johnson's going to be a total bust. But it's a rookie. Don't know. I mean, it's the same. You saying Freeman isn't going to be good? I'm saying Johnson's not going to be good.
Why isn't Johnson going to be good?
He's going to be set up in a committee, and honestly, I think that they should have taken Geis. I don't know what they were thinking taking Johnson.
Well, apparently, I heard a lot of stuff about Darius Geis come out of the draft. Like, tell you right now, Darius Geis is not going to be a murder muppet. Okay, I think Darius Geis is going to be terrible. He's got a really bad attitude. He missed a bunch of meetings with teams. He made up that whole thing about like them asking him if his mom was a prostitute, which they might have asked him that, but they asked him to gauge his reaction. Okay, and because they probably heard he was a hothead. I was pleased as punch when Washington took him. Great athlete, I will say that, and he's got the ability to be a great running back. But so did Trent Richardson. So that's my opinion of Darius Geis. Kerryon Johnson, he's a banger. He's got a lot of guys there, but the running back position is really thin at this point. So Joe grabs Kerryon Johnson. Pick 16, D's Nates. Kevin, you are up for D's Nates.
Okay. So he's already who's he got for the first couple of picks?
His first pick was Christian McCaffrey. And this is his second pick.
Okay. I mean, he needs about. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Larry Fitzgerald.
Oof, Larry Fitzgerald. You think that's a Nate pick? What's up with that there, Kevin?
Well, I mean, he needs a lot. It's either going to be that or he's going to have to go for a quarterback, I think, because he is. But of what's left there, I mean, maybe Winston, but I think he'll, because Fitzgerald's a known quantity. I think he'll go with that.
Okay, with maybe a little panic sets in, and he takes a guy that he knows will. That pick makes his team better, and then he's not compelled to keep him. So
how many shots goes with Alex before the game?
Yeah. How many shots? What's the over under on shots that they've taken those two guys take before this pick comes up? So it's if it's over 4, then I don't know. You might see some weird shit happening here. Connor, you're on the clock. Pick number 17. Tim makes his first pick after trading down to 17.
This is gonna be his very first pick. Whew, that's rough.
That is accurate. Let me just make sure that's accurate before we say that. But yeah, that is accurate.
I mean, having Hyde and Fournette, maybe he feels a little safe at running back. I think he probably should have dealt with that. But with this pick, he has no wide receivers yet. But I think he should hold his ground and maybe go for a guy. Yikes. This is a bad situation for him.
Yep.
I think he could either maybe a Burkhead or a Foreman here, which would be steep. Or he could go with another wide receiver. I mean, with Larry Fitzgerald off the board, it kind of feels wrong at this point. So I think he'd have to go maybe with a Rex Burkhead here. They didn't take a lot of money. Going to be a pass down guy.
Rex Burkhead.
I'm just how the heck many running backs is New England going to have?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's only so many. There's only one football. So
yeah.
I am on the clock. I guess I'll make.
Of them are going to still be there at the beginning of the season.
True. I'm on the clock. I will make both of these picks for AJ. It just seems to make sense since they're back to back. AJ went and grabbed a nice running back, obviously in Saquon Barkley, best running back in the draft. With that first pick, he's got Duke Johnson, and he's got a bunch of wide receivers. So I think he goes back to the well at the running back position. and does something you might not expect him to do. And I don't know if he'll do it in this order because he's he's AJ. But I think at this pick 18, he goes and grabs Marshawn Lynch, running back from Oakland. I think at this point, seeing some of the running backs going off the board, I think a little panic's going to set in, and I think he's going to go for a known quantity with that first pick. And then when that second pick rolls around, he's going to realize that he needs to get younger at the position, and he's going to grab former Texas running back Deontay Foreman down there in Houston. And then he'll be looking a lot better at the running back position after making those 3 picks. Lynch and Foreman, I bet one of those guys is good. What do you guys think about those picks?
I think it's the blend of old and young makes sense for him. I think it's a name that he knows with beast mode there. So I think it could definitely be what happened. Foreman's the better pick of the 2.
Yeah, and AJ, if you end up on the clock and you want to take these 2 guys, please take Lynch first and then Foreman, because then you get the younger player in the later round.
Yes.
That's a little tip for you.
Unless you draft Tate and then you get Pryor and realize how much garbage Pryor is, and then you realize, man, I wish I had Tate at the 3rd round. So,
Oh man, making his first pick, Kevin, you are on the clock for the White Sharks.
Yeah, which he needs something from the never thin field. I mean, there's nothing much rookie talent that you can count on left. I think Crowell or. I still mispronounce his name. Whatever. I guess would saying Crowell be politically incorrect though? No.
Oh, it is now. But Isaiah Crowell, I mean, he's probably going to be an every week start in our league. I think that's a solid pick for a team that just needs a guy that he can play. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, at what's left, I think it's maybe a bit more sure than what AJ had picked. At the same time, I think it's a low ceiling, but I think he's going to get carries,
All right. Isaiah Crowell, one of the most boring picks of the draft so far. Connor, you're on the clock for Joe.
And refresh me on what Joe picked.
Joe took Kerryon Johnson with his first pick.
Okay. From there, I think he doesn't have to worry about running or quarterback still with Watson. He's got his tight ends. He could possibly go with maybe the best available wide receiver, or he could go with another running back. I think he should feel like he has 3 starters at this point at running back, though. So I think he's going to go with wide receiver. And I think he's going to go with that safe and sweet Golden Tate.
Golden Tate. Golden Tate is the pick that no one is excited to make, but Golden Tate's a good NFL player, and he's an every week start, and he gets the job done on a team that needs receivers that do that. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, he's like you say, he gets points every week, so, and he's always a threat.
That's true. Golden Tate always a threat, but Golden Tate,
I mean, he's always a threat for that one pass that gets you 9 points.
Yeah, you're right. The random 60-yard touchdown. But Golden Tate, we won't spend too much time on him. You know the name, you know the game. Whose turn is it to? My turn to pick. Rabbit College Rampage on the clock again. If I know my dad, he is definitely an overcommitter. This number 22 pick, I think he's going to take our good friend Ball Powell.
Oh.
Nice pass catching running back, kind of a known quantity since he took the 2 big swings on the running backs. Bilal Powell, I think, is just a nice value pick. Probably throws him back next year, but for now, he has a running back that he can use. What do you all think about Bilal Powell?
I think that's definitely your dad pick. I mean, he's been proven to stick around every year, and he puts up, commendable points. I don't think it's a terrible pick.
Yeah. Let's see here. We go on to pick 23, and Connor, I believe you're picking for yourself.
So I took Tom Brady, and now I'm looking at what's available.
Yes, sir.
I think I might take a stab at Corey Davis.
Corey Davis, the wide receiver that Connor is totally not taking at that pick. Corey Davis flashed a lot as a rookie. I think he's a good NFL player. It's just a little tricky with there's some other guys there, the injuries and all of that. Plus, that's a run first offense because Derrick Henry is a savage. So that's the end of the third round. Do we want to go to 27 just to let Kevin's team make a pick?
No. Would you like to make a pick, Dan?
There's nobody left. No, because I'm gonna have to give too much thought to this during.
Now he's all sad.
Yeah, I know. I'm already bummed out. Come on.
You got to move up, guys. Got to move up.
I haven't even had the real disappointment yet.
Just looking real quick, AJ made 3 picks: Saquon Barkley, Marshawn Lynch, Deontay Foreman. Do we like that to kind of give him a running back core? Just some guys. He's got pick 34 and 35 coming up. Grab a couple of best player availables right there, and then that team is looking like it could pinch that.
I wish it was younger. I don't know if you should really be shooting for a win now.
Right, but the Marshawn Lynch pick gives him a pick to make, and then he can just throw him back next year. I don't.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you got to figure he's keeping that first round pick next year.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a guy you can throw back in that second round. Third round, we'll see about Deontay Foreman. Big mistake, I think, here, the Alex keeping Blake Bortles in round 10 when he had the rights to Deontay Foreman there. Oh, yeah. I wanted to trade for him, but I have Hunter Henry in that round. So the Blake Bortles thing is a little weird. Suck My Ditka got Dalvin Cook and Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb. I think that's a pretty good pair of guys to add to Matt Breida and Jordan Howard. That's actually a really nice running back group. What do you think there?
Yeah, and I think Steve's definitely a rookie mentality guy lately. So, I mean, I remember trying to trade with him a couple of years ago, and he said, I only want rookies in those early rounds. I think that's all he could hope for.
Yeah, for sure. Nate got Christian McCaffrey and Larry Fitzgerald. Lots of PPR points from those two picks, I think, for sure. But Christian McCaffrey, great player. Larry Fitzgerald will be good. You can throw him back next year. Just improve the team. Just keep making good picks, and I think Nate will be just fine there. Alex made 1 pick. It was Joe Mixon. What do we think?
Maybe he finds the rookie he loves more, but I don't think he can go wrong with Mixon there. I think he's going to have a great year. He's going to definitely improve off of his rookie season. He had a really slow start, but I think he's a valued player.
Nice. Adam grabbed just Isaiah Crowell. If you're going to get only one guy, I think Isaiah Crowell is a decent one to get there in the third round. He's plug and play. Just never gets hurt. Just don't worry about him.
Yeah.
They've been trying to build a running game for a while now, haven't they?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think they're going to be trying anyway with them.
Yeah, and they want to run the ball, protect their investment at quarterback, and I think it could be a good spot. Joe, Kevin, what do you think about what Joe did here with the 2 Lions he grabbed, Kerryon Johnson and Golden Tate?
A lot of firepower.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, they're threats. They're great threats. For I think he's going to have some off games with them, but he's going to have great games with them too.
True. Connor, with this Rabbit College Rampage team, what do you think? He made 3 picks. Geis, Freeman, Powell. What do you think?
I think he covered his bases early to see if he can find something to go and work for him for running back because he's desperate at it. But I think also he had cheered himself up at the end and got a value. Rose is going to produce some points in Powell. I don't think you could argue with that being a terrible choice for his 3 running backs in the first 2 rounds.
No, I really like I mean, that's a really good start for him, and then he can start focusing on some of his other holes now. You know, maybe you come back at 29 and grab another running back, but probably not. I ended up with AJ Green and Rex Burkhead, but both those picks are fake, or not Rex Burkhead, AJ Green and Sony Michel, but both those picks are fake news, so we'll just skip over them. Ray grabbed Lamar Miller. If he's on that team in that same role, I think that's a great pick for him.
Yeah. I think he's a win now team, so
that's a win now pick.
Really hurt him there.
I mean, I think you kind of saw what that Ray is a win now team when he kept both Wilson and Roethlisberger. That's a steep price to pay, like we talked about in the last show. But
I was hoping he dropped Wilson.
I bet you were.
Stolen from me last year after you stole him from me the first time he was drafted.
That's right. Thanks for the tip, big guy. The Petersburg Penguins, they got just Rex Burkhead. Not a great start for this team, but it is a guy that I think will get consistent production, which is what this team needs. You just need to stay. They need to stay in games. Let the quarterbacks and Fournette go win it for you.
Yeah, I think hopefully the right thing falls to him. I think he's got to depend on luck for that first pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff to be moved too. You know, I'm sure someone would get after seeing this mock draft. I'm sure someone would give you quite a bit for Leonard Fournette. So, yeah, I think what this mock has really shown is that these top picks are very, very valuable. And there's not. Why am I echoing?
What?
Okay. Never mind, it stopped. But these top picks are very valuable, and there's really no way around it. Kevin did not make a pick, so never mind. The long bushes got Rashad Penny and Alex Collins. The more I look at that, the more I like it. And he's still got pick 26 coming up, so he can go grab another running back or wide receiver, whatever he wants. But that's a great start to the draft if it shakes out that way.
Yeah, looking at it, I think Pat might have the best cluster of top picks out of everybody. I think maybe your dad at 5 and 14 is kind of nice, but I think he's got at that 7 and 10, he can get 2 awesome players.
I got 6 and 11. I don't know why you're being so mean to me.
What's that?
I have 6 and 11. I don't know why you're being so mean to me. Literally like the exact same thing. But yeah, no, that's a good spot. What's that?
Yeah, and then you'll pick somebody like Gillisley or something. So,
I mean, it would have been great if I could have just like inherited Antonio Brown and all those guys, but I had to make my own pick. But Rashad Penny, Alex Collins, a great start. Tom Brady, Corey Davis, Connor. I know you kind of balked at the idea of Tom Brady with that being that first pick. But that start on your team with another pick coming up in just a second, I think you'd end up being pretty happy with that, and then you can just grab whatever random rookie running back that is in a committee and ends up being amazing. So
like I usually do.
Yeah, just it's like, but Connor, there's 4 other running backs there. It's like, no, he'll randomly get to play a lot. No, don't worry about it. But that was a good thing. And then Carlo getting Ronald Jones is just, it's a nice pick. He's got another spot here at 24 where he would obviously take another running back. But I think I like a lot of these starts. I'm not crazy about Rex Burkhead in the second round for my brother, but overall, I think we mostly did okay. Not only just Control Z the hell out of all this. I'll just hang on one second. I especially liked all the questions that we got during this show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and shut off this.
I have one, by the way.
Oh, he's got a question.
All right, Kevin's got a question.
I think that we should rename the Geritol Bowl to the Woodhead Bowl.
First of all, it's the Grey Cup.
Woodhead Bowl. Since he's retired now, so
the Woodhead Bowl.
For when your dad and I play.
Maybe the trophy for it could just be like a giant bronze bust of Danny Woodhead, and it costs like $10,000 to make.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, just league fees are going to go up a little bit, guys. Just so you know. Let me go ahead and kill this screen share here real quick, guys. But guys, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day and doing the show. A little housekeeping. We are doing walk-up music for the draft this year. So I need 2 songs from everybody that I can upload into the draft software. and the deadline for that will be July 1st at midnight Eastern. So 2 songs per person. A couple of you have already gotten me your picks. I mean, nothing that's like egregiously terrible, please. Like, I don't want a song that's just like fuck, fuck, fuckity fuck, 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 fuck. Like the what's the song? Kyle's Mom from South Park. Don't pick that. If there were an owner in the league that was the mother to somebody named Kyle, that'd be great, but it's not. So never mind. Let me know what kind of food and or beer and or other sorts of things you guys want at the draft. Kind of spitballing. We were thinking about maybe getting dinosaur barbecue would be kind of cool. Getting some mini hot dogs and just buying the big thing of sauce from the famous lunch was another idea. So whatever you guys want, go ahead and bring it up in Slack. We'll vote on it or whatever.
Get Joe his tapioca pudding that he ends up eating.
It's rice pudding, okay?
Rice pudding earlier.
But the thing is, I mean, if you're gonna, there will be food at the draft, but just make sure you guys eat a bunch of Hot Pockets before you come. So, Joe, we're literally going to a hot dog eating contest. Yeah, I was just really hungry, guys. Do you guys have anything before we sign off here?
I apologize for having computer malfunctions for the first half of this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know why Connor's such a piece of shit, but you know that happens. Well, anyway, Kevin, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. And as always, konnichiwa, bitches.